What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's another Technical Alpha.
Mic. Holy jeez.
Oh, is it doing the thing where it's the webcam again?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. Let me just pop in here. Oh, look, it still says input 12, audience ID 22. What if I just did that? Are we good now?
Yep. Perfect.
I'll never understand Discord. It's just one of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Technical Alpha podcast. It is Thursday, May the 28th, 2020. I know it feels like it should be like 2025, but we're not there yet. We got a, you know what? I'm going to say we have a great show lined up for you today, but it is going to be by nothing but the graces of our ability to carry literal nothingness for an entire podcast, as this has been, and I'm not even joking, this might be the driest news week we will have ever attempted to cover for a podcast. And I suspect a lot of that is because we're quite literally about a week and a bit away from the June onslaught. But oh my god. This is the most depressingly short list of podcast topics I've ever written, but we'll make it happen. Let me just get the screen up here for you guys. There we go. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all safe and healthy and happy as much as you can be anyway during this gong show. Mr. Black!
Yep.
How was your week?
Another week.
I have to say, I'm noticing something. Either you lost a lot of weight or your head got smaller.
Oh yeah, no, my we shaved a mohawk.
Ah, okay, we're doing it
essentially.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, we hit a certain sub goal, so I shaved it, and I might dye it, but who knows?
We'll see. Are we gonna see Cisco make a comeback?
Nah, if I dye it, it's gonna be purple.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bleed purple, yeah. Jeff. We are on Twitch.
Bleed purple. I bleed purple. Hurry up and give me an extension, a contract, because I bleed purple. Give me Twitch. Hit me up. Hit me up. Everybody else is getting contracts. Hit me up.
I'm still waiting to get the bounty board. I've only been a partner for like 7 years now, and I still can't get the bounty board. It's just embarrassing. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not joking. We're going to do our best to make this podcast something that's long enough to get you at least through your treadmill walk for the day. But my God, it's...
I haven't even been seeing much. I haven't been seeing much at all, like in terms of news. Like usually during the week, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Adam will talk about that. I guess like the only thing I saw was Twitch signed Summit, and
I didn't even see that on my timeline.
Yeah, they signed Summit, Josh OG, and there's one other. Somebody in chat will probably say it. I think they announced all three of them at the same time or something. But that's really the only like news I've seen on Twitter.
It's been a very dead fucking week for sure. But let's jump right into all three things we have to talk about.
Let's do it.
Let's start with Shroud. Shroud seems to believe that Valorant is not going to be ready for the June launch window. I think it's, what is it, June 2nd? I think is what they're currently aiming for. Yeah, if you open up that link-a-dink right there. Okay, because there's some quotes and stuff here that they've got from him. So we know it's coming up on June 2nd, and there has been a lot of discussion around Valorant's, not just its balance, but bugs and issues with the game and whatnot that have been going on, because it's technically, it only just got out of like closed beta, not even more than a couple weeks ago. It's not like it's been a particularly long process. They really seem to be like pressing to get this game out, whether it's 100% ready or not. But I don't know. As much as I appreciate the opinions of Shroud, because I mean, if you're going to listen to one dude about competitive shooters, he's probably not the last person that you would put on your list to listen to. I don't know. I don't know exactly if what he mentions here is something that would hold back their launch window. Maybe he has more and it's just not listed here as like his thoughts and whatnot. But we'll go through this.
I think it's probably just more of, this is a rough week of news. I mean,
I'm
Shroud on his stream, somebody in chat probably like, hey, what do you think about the Valorant getting launched? And he says, and I quote, I'm pretty confident that they don't think it's ready. No. What did he say?
It starts here with one where he says, I don't know. He said, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I think they're being pushed by Riot. So he's saying the dev team that's responsible for Valorant is being pushed by Riot to just get this out June 2nd, all costs, whether or not it's ready. And then he went on to explain, this is by way of win.gg, by the way. He said he went on to explain that Riot is the big dog, but there's a team of little dogs at Riot that are making Valorant, and he believes that team is being pressured to release it before it's ready. And then this is the quote following that up. Said, I am pretty confident that they don't think it's ready. And by they, I assume he means the dev team working on Valorant. I'm pretty confident that they don't think it's ready. How could you? It's missing so much. And then he talks about performance issues where he says you're still getting 60 frames sometimes. He said, I don't know. It's going to be bad, is what he said. That was his quote.
It sounds like somebody in his chat asked him what he thought about it coming up.
Yeah.
And then, he might be having a bad go at it, and there might be a couple of things about the game that irritates him, and it sounds like more of a casual conversation out of like, these guys there's no way in fuck this game's going to be ready, or there's so much shit wrong with it. How are they going to do it? But what Shroud says literally has no bearing on if the game is going to be released or not. Like, they're saying it's going to be released on June 2nd. I believe the game will also be released on June 2nd.
Well, I don't think Shroud is saying otherwise.
Yeah. Do I think it's going to have problems? Sure.
Yeah,
it's going to have
of course.
problems. And they're just going to patch it as it goes. You know what I mean? Like, I think people are going to be more upset if the game doesn't get released. It wouldn't make sense that less than a week ago, this was like 4 or 5 days ago or some shit, they were saying, hey guys, you don't have to wait till July or whatever, we're going to release the game in weeks. And then they put the date. Why would they just suddenly a few days later go, actually it's not ready? Like, the game in my opinion is going to be released on June 2nd.
Oh, it's 100% going to. I don't think anyone's disputing that. It's just like, I think the point is, if even in casual conversation, which is obviously what it is, it's just somebody took this off of his stream or whatever, and you're probably right, it was just a question somebody had. Do you think it's ready? Because he was probably already talking about some of the issues that he and other pro players are seeing in the game. Is this going to be ready because it's going to come out June 2nd? And then he just had a casual conversation about it. Is, like you said, it's very likely what happened. It's more of just like it's more of just a difference in opinion of the readiness of the game based on his standards, right? I don't think that he's necessarily under any kind of ideas that the game is going to release with zero issues whatsoever. Like, every game now releases with issues. It's just, how many issues and what types of issues does a game have that you're comfortable with as a developer. And I think what he's saying is he's siding with the Valorant. I mean, he's making assumptions, but siding with the Valorant dev team within Riot that's saying Riot wants this game on this date, and that's the show. And the dev team probably knows that it's not ready, but they don't have a choice. They have to release it on that date.
June 2nd.
And then a member from Riot actually said here in a tweet, he said, "We will not be patching again before the launch, since the servers come down so soon. But the launch will contain fixes and improvements to many of the issues that you've been reporting on, including hit registration feeling off, disabled blood, and much more. Patch notes will be included." So there's no more patching leading up until the release of the game, at which point they're going to have like one of the classic day one patch deals, and then we'll go from there. But yes, it's obviously not going to be a perfect game when it launches, and it wouldn't shock me if it's pretty broken. It does seem to me a bit early to be releasing this game given the testing period that it's received. It does seem a bit on the early side, but I doubt it's going to hurt it all that much. But it's just
I get it, where people can have issues, but I'm trying to figure out the downside of even releasing a game that is known to have a few issues.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really gonna hurt them? No.
It would have to be pretty earth-shattering for them.
There'd have to be like really bad lag issues, people dropping out of games. I mean, we're talking like unplayable stuff.
Yeah.
From what I'm gathering from Valorant, now I'll be the first to admit I haven't played Valorant in about 2 weeks. So
I haven't played it, period. So I'm just going entirely on what we're seeing from.
I mean, I've probably played 40, 50 hours of the game, maybe more. So I mean, it's not that I haven't played it at all. I've played a fair amount of it. I know that's not as much as some diehards that are putting those in like 3 or 4 days, but I have a pretty good grasp of the game. I occasionally watch other people play it. A few streamers that I watch play the game. The game doesn't seem that bad. And let's be real. This game is meant for the players, right? Like the casual players right now. They're not releasing Valorant for Shroud on June 2nd or any other pro team. Sure, they want to make this a big esport, but the reality is they want to get this out to the public because they want to start making shit tons of money. They want to keep the hype going. And this is going to take time to develop into a game that you're not going to have pro players upset about the smaller things that mean a lot to them that necessarily don't mean fuck all to the average guys like you and I. So they need to release this game. I think they're going to release it regardless. And if it has issues, that might bug the elite, but that we're talking about the 0.001% of the amount of people that are playing. It's no different than StarCraft. You know, you make a patch in StarCraft, and a lot of the times the casual players, it doesn't affect them. What it really affects is it affects the elite level players when the small changes happen. Because at the core, when you're creating an esport, you actually need to balance the game around the pros to make it entertaining and make sure that it's fair and that the meta is changing. But you also need to keep in mind that millions of other people play the game. So having it perfect is ridiculous. And I think when people see these comments from guys like Shroud, Shroud looks at the game in a different light than what his audience looks at the game. So when the audience plays it, they might go, dude, I don't, this doesn't really affect me, or I don't really see what you're seeing. But to guys like Shroud and his inner circle and the people that are competing and that have a career around this, these are pretty big things. So they're very vocal about it. But for everybody else, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, they do have influence in that. Even as a casual player, if you're a viewer of Shroud or other pro players, they will just mimic what they hear from,
of course,
the people, right? Even if personally as a player, it wouldn't affect them if, let's say, the tick rate, which is like one of the things that people always talk about in CS:GO, And it's like, motherfucker, you're just you think that you're good, but you're actually just casual. It's like in League of Legends, people that hit like masters or whatever, they immediately think that they're actual pro level. They've actually just hit the bottom of the barrel, and now they're getting up.
Yeah,
and
now you're playing real players now.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, you're playing real players.
You're right. They can't even comprehend the things that they're complaining about because they can't skill wise.
It doesn't affect
them. They're not even accessing what they're complaining about. And that's the funny thing. It's like, it's like Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
You've got a certain power level, and then there's another. Your opponent has such a huge power level that like you can't even complain about some of the things that are going on over here because you're not even at that level. It's like your brain can't even comprehend what it is they're doing. They're fighting at supersonic speeds and you can't even see the battle, but yet the guy next to you who's actually a god, he can see every punch, every maneuver, everything that's going on, and he can meticulously go through everything, but all you're seeing is just this is what you're seeing. You have no idea, but everybody else is doing this. You know what I mean? That's the analogy I'm going with.
That's a beautiful analogy, and it didn't include a penis.
Thank you.
So
it didn't include a penis.
That was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
It is that was, and that's my point. Is that a lot of the stuff that pro players will talk about are, notwithstanding something like, like you were saying before, connection issues and shit like that. Obviously, that affects everyone. But if you're talking about input latency underneath 2 frames, I'm sorry, but like the odds that that it's dramatically affecting your game without you being a pro level player, basically 0.
Yeah. Well, all they can do, Adam, is when they suck, is complain that that's the thing that's making them suck.
Yeah, which was my point.
They heard it from Shroud.
Yeah, which is my point. Which was the point about that, was that if Shroud is saying that, then it gives them a reason to use that as their own thing. So I don't. Obviously, it's not going to affect them. June 2nd's going to come. They'll have a patch. A lot of it will be fixed. There's going to be lots of broken shit, but it will be just like a lot of other multiplayer games. The same thing happens. Lots of people bitch and complain about balance and connection issues and everything, and yet still millions and millions of people hopping on and playing all the time, and that's not going to change with Valorant. What will be important for what Shroud is talking about, notwithstanding something like frame drops to 60 FPS, that should probably be fixed. That's fucking atrocious. The will be that stuff needs to be locked in if they're really going to be taken seriously as an esport, which they're obviously going to do. That stuff will be fixed. It'll just be, they'll get more flack from pro players like Shroud if they try and push a lot of tournaments and stuff before that stuff is fixed.
Yes.
Which they probably will still do, but that's they can complain about that because they're the ones playing at a high level. But for the average person, I don't mean shit.
It ain't affecting you, bro.
It ain't affecting you, bro.
Go play your Valorant and go have some fun.
They're it's similar to 60 FPS or 60 hertz monitors, 144, 165, whatever. And for the average player, when I went from 60 hertz to 144, and it's true, you do see in multiplayer games a few extra frames of somebody, let's say, leaving behind a wall before somebody with 60 FPS would see them. But then it's, do you have the reaction time to consistently make use of that shit? And the answer is no. For the vast majority of people. I think my kill count and stuff went up by I want to say maybe a whopping 10%. And that was, that's almost within margin of error of me just playing a game so long that I got better at it.
You just got
in
better.
general.
Yeah, you're just doing better.
So it's like, it's funny what people will latch on to complain about in the game. Is it nice to be able to have those things? Yes. Is it making you specifically a worse player as the average player, even if you're dumping in 6 hours a day? No, it isn't.
Nah, bro.
Not even a little bit. Which brings me to, I'll talk about this next point. I'll skip down a few. Did I list that? I thought I did. Yes, I did. Essential Esports announced that the average LCS player, their salary, I want you to fucking sit down for this one if you're not already. The average LCS player's salary is $410,000. $410,000. The average.
God damn, dude. What is the above average? Jesus.
Now, that's not median. So there are obviously whales like Faker and people who are pulling that average up, but that tells you that there's a lot of people making like an entry-level $100,000 as a salary. And then keep in mind that most of the people that are playing on these teams are in team houses paying $0 for housing, $0 for food, $0 for like damn near anything. So that's just cream. It's they pay their tax and then it's cream. This is all money coming in.
And
they were talking.
Now I know why these out of shape, nerdy, motherfucking gamers are fucking 10 out of 10 Asian chicks.
Yes,
it all makes sense now.
It all comes together.
Hey, it all makes sense. They got their e-girls. Hey, when you're making $410,000, does it really matter?
Get it?
Does it really matter?
Get it? That's just a crazy amount of money. So if you were ever wondering what the current state of League of Legends esports is, it's fine.
They're doing okay.
They're doing okay. If the average player is...
They're making NHL, they're making like professional sports salaries.
Yes.
Straight up.
Yes.
Playing League of Legends.
So that's just impressive. And so I made the joke to talk about, just how bad the average player is and stuff. It's just like, I made the joke, I should have stuck with my gold level Ziggs a little longer.
Well, it also just goes to show you that, think about how much money the top streamers are making, right? Or even like the mid to high tier streamers are making.
Oh, way more money.
Where they go, fuck a pro team.
Yeah.
I'm making so much goddamn money doing my own thing. Just imagine what they're making a year.
Yes.
If they're willing to just say, yo, fuck,
now in fairness,
400,000, 500,000.
Yeah. Now in fairness, most of the players for LCS aren't ditching LCS to go stream full time. And now we probably know why, because the average player is making $410,000 a year. They don't need to ditch shit.
No, they don't. No, they don't have to.
You're talking about a CSGO player or some shit, like a Shroud or whatever. And, they're even winning. They're not making $410,000 a year. So it makes sense for them to go fuck off and then just do their thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are quite a few professional League of Legends players that like drop from TSM and drop from
North American TSM.
North American.
That's the secret sauce there.
That is the secret sauce.
It's the people who never win enough to make enough money, so they just fuck off and then go stream full time instead. That's the key. Yeah. You don't see Faker going, you know what? I'ma just hit up Twitch full time.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
Why would you go on the grind when you can just be a god and just get paid handsomely for it?
It's just the way it goes. But yeah. We've talked about this before, but every time, and I fucking hate it, every fucking time I see or read anything about League of Legends as an esport, it makes me want to play the fucking game, and I hate it because I hate the fucking game, and I hate the people that play it, and it is just pure AIDS from top to bottom.
I actually like the game.
I hate it because when I play it, I'm angry. Yeah.
I know.
I'm just so angry. Yeah, like I turn the launcher on. I can already feel my blood pressure rising. It's got that effect. It's fucking wild. But I occasionally miss it. Now it's such a wildly different game now than it was last time I played it that it'd be like learning from scratch all over again, pretty much. But it's just such. It's. I actually, my heart rate goes up just thinking about playing that game. And not because I'm excited, but because I'm like...
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not worth.
It's not worth. Unless you're one of the LCS players, in which case it's...
It's very worth.
Very.
Hey, you want to pay me $400,000 a year? I will convert my life to League of Legends. That I can promise you.
Yes. Well, it was funny.
That I can promise you.
So Monte Cristo was the one who retweeted this, which is how I saw it in the first place. And then there was people in the thread that were like old guard League of Legends professional players that were talking about what they got paid. So it's like we paved the way for these bastards because now they're making all this money.
Back in the day they were making like 40 G's, 50 G's, and they thought they were like hot shit. They're like, hell yeah, I can buy a fucking Mazda 6. These motherfuckers here, they're like, yo, I got Lambos, bro. Like, we got $60,000 Rolexes, we got Lamborghinis, we got hot Asian chicks. We live in the life, man. We got personal trainers and coaches. We got a gym downstairs. You know, this is, you know, we got chefs. Well, we're living the dream right now. We're living the dream.
You know what's going to be interesting to watch will be I was watching an interview of, you know, after watching The Last Dance, I got on a big, like, just watching interviews with Bulls players and stuff over the years, and like there was some recent stuff where they were interviewing Rodman, and he was asked what he thought about how these young players now getting out of high school, whatever, getting out of college, barely just straight to the NBA, making 140 mil over 5 years.
So much money.
And what he thought, how he thought it changes the player's mentality versus what it was in his era in the 90s and before. And I'm interested to see if his response to this is going to be mimicked in esports as it gets bigger, and we're seeing stuff like LCS, where in his era, the guys, they got there and they did it, and they were, you know, they except for Pippen, they negotiated for their best contracts, but you didn't see them hopping teams every season or doing all this other shit because it's
there
like
was a lot of loyalty, man. That was once you got in, you were in. It's almost like you were blooded in.
You got into a team, you got drafted to a team. It didn't matter if that team was shit,
sucked, or it was god tier.
You said, I'm going to stay here until I'm going to make my mark on this team, and we're going to try and make this a fucking franchise. And that's what they did. And I don't disagree. I think that players, like anything, players were more about the game of basketball,
not the money,
and not blinded as much by money, because it's like people get self-importance when they start talking about all that money, and not everyone, but people will fall victim to that shit. And I'm wondering if we'll ever see that kind of mentality leak into esports when, you know what? Now that I think about it,
dude, it's already happening.
It's already happening, and in NA, where NA. Where teams were farming talent for specifically for like for personality and ad revenue and shit like that. You saw the top players get converted to entertainment talent for that exact fucking reason.
Yes.
So it's already kind of happened.
Dude, look what's happening with Mixer and Twitch. Like, you know, we're literally seeing it now. Like, it's always sort of been happening for the last like 3 or 4 years as esports has gotten bigger. Like, for example, there's just more money in esports now because
just way more.
The big sponsors are now in. Pardon me. The big corporations are now in. There's just millions and millions and millions of dollars. So like when I first started in esports, you know, it was like that picture of Jeff Bezos in his old school office, and you've got the Amazon on like the nylon fucking like shit just written out, just Amazon.com, and it was just super grungy and just bare bones and just full of passion, and it was like they didn't even know what they were sitting on and where they were going, but they were just doing it for the love of it. It was literally that, dude. I remember the first ever NASL I went to, and Twitch had a booth at NASL, and it was a tent. So it was like it was just a tent that you would see outside of like a Home Depot where somebody is selling doing a barbecue like fundraiser, and on it. I wish I had a picture. I probably do somewhere. and on it, it just says Twitch. And this was like just after, not too long after they went from Justin TV to Twitch, and Twitch was like a new thing. I'm telling you, dude, the booth. I mean, I think you were.
I wasn't
you were
at NASL.
you weren't at NASL, dude. The tent, the booth was about as big as this rug behind me, and there was just a little shitty table in there, and a couple of higher ups was there, and that was where I actually got my first raise at Twitch. So like I went there and I was talking to one of the guys, and that was when I got my first like pay increase from Twitch, just from networking and talking, and they were rewarding the people that had founded the basically the first streamers that were there. And at the time, Twitch was built off StarCraft. So Twitch was attaching itself to the StarCraft esports, because NASL was strictly a StarCraft event. It wasn't like BlizzCon or Blizzard MLG where you had like League and different things. This was just StarCraft. And the first ever Twitch was this little tiny booth. And I remember back then, like back then, a big contract, like when I had sponsors come to me, and this was like, wasn't a small streamer back then in comparison to like what Twitch was back then. I would be like top 10 viewed on the entire platform at that time, because it was so new, and having 800, 1,000, peaking at 2,000 viewers back then was like, you're the fucking shit. Now you have 2,000 viewers and you're like,
you're the fucking shits.
You're the fucking shits, right? You're like a dead streamer. You know what I mean? Like quote unquote dead streamer. So back then, like a big contract would be like, from a sponsor would be like $12,000 a year. You know, like that's big money, like $1,000 a month to like promote something, or you know, we'll say that. Now, for example, and then like 2-3 years down the road, as Twitch started getting bigger and more sponsors coming in, then it was nothing. It wasn't the norm for me to sign a $30,000-$40,000 contract with a sponsor, right? So now you're making $2,000-$3,000 a month from a sponsor. Now, I mean, you know, if you're big enough, you're at 7 figures. You're mid 6 figures for some of these big streamers that are pulling in huge money, like big money. We're like tens of thousands of dollars a month. You know, a $5,000. Like people are getting paid, dude. It's crazy. I've gotten paid. I'll just be straight up. I'll be honest with people, dude. I've gotten paid 10 grand for a day's work before. Yeah. I'm not even shitting you. Like 10. I mean, I guess, you know, 8,000 US is like 10 G's for me. I've gotten paid that much for a day's work. So, you know, imagine where we're at now. Like the money, like a day's work to a year's work years ago is like, it's insane. So like this $410,000 a year, this doesn't surprise me. And I guarantee you and I were going to look in 10 years from now, we're going to look back at this 410 and we're going to be like, it was nothing. It'll just be like 7 figures, multi 7 figures. People coming in doing a $30 million 3-year deal, or like to be a player, like not even to own a team. Like now to own an esports team, like esports teams are worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. We're going to have like we're going to soon have our like first $1 billion esports organization in like the next 10 years. I guarantee it. So it's insane the amount of money, and just watching it over the years, it usually takes every 3 to 5 years. It's just huge cash injects. And now that the big corporations are on board, dude, they've got endless money. And what they've realizing is they would much rather pay a top streamer $1 million, $3 million. Dude, we've seen you know, all of this Apex thing. Streamers were getting paid $1 million for a weekend to play Apex.
Yep.
Million. These aren't made up numbers, bro. This is reality, dude.
For a weekend.
Some of your favorite streamers were getting paid $1 million to play Apex for a weekend.
Yep.
For a weekend. But what you see is you the big highlights of what you see is streamer hits 100,000 subscribers. Like, dude, the guy's getting paid right now like $100,000 an hour playing this game. The subs is just like fuck you money. The subs is like, oh shit, let me look at it. Oh, there's another $250,000. You know, I actually can't. I actually can't imagine the wire transfers from the bank.
Oh.
Like, dude, I get a Twitch paycheck, and I'm like, damn, this is a good month. You know,
Yeah,
and I do well. You know, in like for me in my life, like, you know, I'm still small bananas. Like, I look at it, I'm like, man, this is a good month. You know, I've got, 4,000 subscribers. You know, you do the math. It's like, that's a big payday. I mean, you stream a lot of hours and stuff. And it's great. But then I think, just for a second, I go, wait, some of these other guys, I see this wire. These guys they're making this in a day, bro. One day. And like the wire transfers have got to be insanity every single month. So it's seeing where the money's going is crazy. The esports personalities now and influencers in the esport world, dude, they're making as much or more money than what you see on TV than some of these basketball players, these baseball players. Like, these guys are making crazy money. And the great thing about it is it isn't like your traditional type of hard work in terms of like, you know, you got to go to practice and you got to do this, you got to do that. It's like these guys are literally creating their own way of doing things, and they're making as much or more than somebody that has dedicated their lives to a craft. And these guys are literally just getting contracts to play a game for a weekend and make $1 million. It's pretty incredible. Like, it's insane. And they deserve it. They deserve it. Like, they put in the work. There's the boom. But holy shit, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see from just the esports side, for players who aren't just, you know, kind of one-off situations like a lot of the NA players have been over the years, but like the highest level competitive players. How many of them, when they're coming into the system new and fresh, how many of them are altered by the money in terms of like team loyalty, level of performance for being, you know, for playing, things of that nature, because you see it in other sports with like I was saying, where people make so much money right out of the gate. It's like, why even try? I just signed my contract. Why do I even try? You know, Michael Jordan was signing a 1-year contract every single year in the mid-late 90s. It wasn't like he was locked in for 7 years.
No.
Motherfucker showed up to work and put in his work every single fucking game.
And then he made sure he got paid for it. And at the end of the year, renegotiation time. You want me again? Pay me, bitch.
Even more money.
Yep.
But at least you fucking worked for it, right?
You worked for it. Some of these guys coming in, $100 million.
I'm done.
5-year deal. Hey, I'm just going to coast it now. I made it. I've made it. So yeah, it's crazy. The I guess like the only difference is right now, I guess if it keeps going this way, but right now as a streamer and as a professional esports player, there really isn't much of an opportunity to just cash in and then slack, because there are so many hungry kids out there that they want to take your fucking bread. And like, especially as a streamer, you can't put on you can't turn it off unless you've made your bag and you're okay with just walking away. Because the crazy thing about this is you need to be consistent. If you're not, that money will dry up, bro, and they'll spend that money on somebody else very, very fast. So, but I'm kind of with you. Give it another 5 more years, bro. These guys are gonna be making so much money out the gate. They're gonna get really good at a game. They're gonna sign a huge deal, and then that's it. That's the show.
Yeah. I wonder what contracts are gonna look like in terms of like performance clauses. I wonder what contracts are going to look like eventually to counter some of that, right? To make sure that you can't just sign and then slack off. Like there's gonna have to be like some seriously weird legalese at play there to try and like word it in such a way and have clauses for performance where you can't be just slacking off. The thing, just to not to make this any longer, not that we have anything else to talk about, but the other thing that Rodman said was, mentioned to, was players and the teams and whatnot. They're working with these top players where they're not playing every game of a season. They're playing 60 games at 82 or some shit. They're taking their off time and whatnot. They're resting to spend the money and just fucking relax and go to the spa and shit.
Yeah.
And then MJ went out in his Wizards year in his 40s and played 82 straight fucking games in his 40s. And we've got 20-year-old fucking kids, prodigies coming into the system, getting signed for $100 million plus, and they're fucking marshmallow soft, taking vacations and not showing up every day. And not only did MJ play fucking like 82 games, that motherfucker was having games, he's playing 30 plus minutes every fucking time. And then he'd leave and go work out after a fucking game. And then he'd wake up and work out again and then off to a game and nonstop. And there are people that are like, and it's because they just got the money now. So like, where's your motive? Like, so many people try and break into basketball or other sports for the money. Once they get the money,
what are you doing it for? Hopefully, for the love of the game.
That's it.
Hopefully,
the love of the fucking game.
At that point, a lot of players do it for legacy, right? So when you hear that word a lot, once a professional athlete gets so rich, then now they do it for legacy, legacy. They want to be remembered for something, and that's what drives them. But if they don't have that,
or you could be like LeBron James and not actually want to build the legacy. You just want to tell everyone that you're the greatest of all time.
Because why not?
And just avoid actually becoming the greatest of all time. Just be like, when I did that, I was the greatest of all time. And then MJ called up the producer and said, "Release the tapes." And then we got the Last Dance.
I'm the GOAT.
Fucking MJ said, "Motherfucker, come on now." Next up, what do we got here? IGN announces the Summer of Games 2020 schedule, which is, by the looks of it, when I read it over, just kind of looks like, roughly what they would have been doing during E3, maybe expanding on it a bit. It's a much deeper schedule. Like we've got June 4th through the 24th. So you got 20 days worth of stuff lined up here, ranging of all sorts of stuff. So just like Jeff Keighley doing his thing, it looks like everyone is individually trying to do some part to keep the news cycle going, keep excitement levels high for what's coming up here with this new generation, and just to make sure we don't have a major lull. But as like an actual site, IGN seems to be really pushing this the hardest outside of Jeff Keighley, of course. So here, I'll just rattle off a couple of the things that they've got listed here. Things like they've got a lot of exclusive world premieres or trailers and things for games coming up. They've got some charity streams that they have lined up in this schedule as well. They've got, let's see here. So Wasteland 3 from Deep Silver is an exclusive trailer, for example. Borderlands 3 DLC exclusive look and preview. Let's see what else we got here. Everspace 2 exclusive gameplay. Humble Bundle indie showcase that's going to be there. Yakuza Like a Dragon. We talked about that actually the other day. That was on the Xbox third-party one. They've got exclusive gameplay and an exclusive interview for that as well. They've got a live stream with CD Projekt Red, so I'm sure you'll hear about Cyberpunk with that one. And more. I mean, this is a big-ass fucking list. I'm just randomly trying to pull shit out of here. But there is a lot of stuff here that should appeal to just about everyone. So you'll be able to keep an eye out for that, and it will give us news to talk about as well, I'm sure, as that goes on, which is great for us. But lots and lots of stuff coming from them, which is, good to hear, because that was like my biggest concern was without E3, we were going to be dead in the water for like 3 straight months.
Yeah, there'll be news.
But everyone's picking up the pieces.
It'll come.
So shout-outs to IGN for...
and I think in a way it'll be even more hype because nobody's been doing much. There hasn't been anything. So I think even the smallest... I think what before would be a small announcement is going to seem just a little bit bigger simply because we've been so deprived of excitement, and we just are craving not only some normalcy back in our lives, but some light. They're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I think people are just going to get excited to get excited, which
why not?
Isn't going to hurt.
Fuck it. You know what is going to hurt? China's Steam-specific client is getting ready to go, Jeff.
Oh.
As you might expect, a Steam client in China, a little bit different than what we've got here, with all sorts of restrictions. The 2 main ones that I saw were your name on it is not editable at all. You get a random string of numbers associated to your account, and that's it. There's no changing it. You don't get to choose your name. You are just a number in the system, much like with the rest of China. Past that, there's also some games that they have time management restrictions on. So there are games where you'll only be able to play for so long a day or during certain hours of the day as well. And of course, a whole host of other changes to the platform, but Steam is obviously going to make as many concessions as they can, because just having doing anything they can to get the platform in there, the amount of money on the table.
Huge money. Huge.
It's worth jumping through some hoops.
Yeah. You jump through all the hoops.
All of them to make that happen. Speaking of jumping through some hoops, Phantasy Star Online 2 finally launched, like, kind of outside of Japan. It's like 10 years. Almost 10 years this thing has been around for, this MMO. And everyone and their dog outside of its host region has been rabidly asking to be able to play this game, and it's taken them almost so long that nobody gave a fuck anymore, but a lot of people are going to play it anyway. But now it's just like, the game is fucking old, man. I mean, it's almost 10 years old, for God's sake. However, they chose poorly, because this bad boy is releasing on Windows 10 on the Microsoft Store. Hey!
And it's gone.
Which means almost immediately there were all sorts of issues, because the Microsoft Store is pure, unadulterated ass from top to bottom, whereby they install everything in an apps folder underneath the rest of the apps that Windows 10 has on the computer, which means that folder, by the way, even as an administrator, you cannot access, you cannot see anything. It's all fucking encrypted. So you cannot change anything in those folders. So if there's any bug fixes or whatever that would work with, let's say, a Steam version of the game, you can't fucking apply them to the Microsoft version of the fucking game on the Microsoft Store, because it's shit. Unequivocally, objectively, ass. I hate how they handle it. It's broken Forza Horizon 2 for me, that I've talked about multiple times in the past. Still not fixed. They're not like hard fixes, but you can't get access to the folder to fix them. So you're just fucked. So a lot of people have been struggling to turn the game on without it just dropping an error and not letting you in. There have been, thankfully, some workarounds for that to get people into the game, but there have been people that have been able to play the game without issue, and then when they restart the computer, game uninstalls itself.
Rip again.
So, if you're going to play it, good luck. I believe it's also available on the Xbox, because I think it's a Play Anywhere game. So, if you have an Xbox and you don't want it to, you want it to actually play, then that might be the place to be for now, until they sort out the issues with the Windows Store. Is it region locked? Oh, and it's not out for the EU. Oh my lord, I thought it was out for the EU too. It's just
Sounds like a
NA.
dumpster fire.
All right, so that's bad all around, and sounds like Japan to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sounds like Japanese game development. Next up, Dead by Daylight, which is one of those games that is just super niche, but it keeps going. It's like on Twitch. It's got an audience. Yeah. It's getting its new killer. I mean, it's got, like Freddy, it's got Jason, all that. It's got several killers now. But now they're getting Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Ooh, there you go.
It's a good one to have.
It's a good one.
It's a good one to have. Every time that something like this happens, it just makes me sad that we're not getting Silent Hill games, and instead it's just like the property's being hoarded out to literally every other game but its own franchise. However...
well, they're making money at least. Maybe they'll keep making enough money to make a game.
Someday. It would be nice. I also retweeted this earlier in the week, but just a casual reminder for those of you that ever get interested in playing Silent Hill 2, which is the best horror game of all time in my opinion. Do not play at all costs. Do not play the HD collection that they put together that was out for PS3. It is so shit from top to bottom. Different voice actors because they didn't want to replay or they didn't want to pay the fucking old ones for their work. All the graphic updates, made it look worse, including one of my favorites, the sign that says Silent Hill on it. The font got changed to Comic Sans.
Rip.
Why?
Because why not?
Fuck. Anyway, play the PS2 version.
This one right here.
That's okay. So in order, there is a PC version that is essentially the PS2 version, but enhanced with mods and everything else. So you get the original audio, you get done textures and all that shit, and it looks and sounds the best. But you have to put in a lot of work to make that happen. Then there's the PS2 version. Then there's the Xbox version, and then you don't play anything else. You just don't. If you're gonna play Silent Hill, those are your versions to play, for God's sake. Because if you went and played like the HD collection, you'd be asking, why is everyone talking about this game being so good? Because the fucking collection is so bad. Next up, Discord. Oh, here's a goodie. This is just a general public service announcement. Discord has some malware that's going around. Unfortunately, it's a brand new version of the Anarchy Grabber, which through links and whatnot install itself. It's hard to detect sometimes. You can see if your Discord has it by checking out one of the files in the Discord folder in the app data folder, but it can strip passwords, plain text passwords, and other things like that. So be super mindful right now about whatever the fuck you post on Discord. And if you haven't already, like Foxy just said, 2-factor authentication for literally everything you can get your hands on. So just be mindful of that. I mean, you only get it through links, but people can be like DMing you. It's not actually them. Yeah. So that classic bullshit. Just be aware of that stuff for now. Next up. Let's see here. Oh, I'll mention this and then we'll end with the other one. Xbox Series X pre-order page is now live.
There you go.
Now they don't have the announcement for the date or the price yet, but if the page is up, that means that they're ready or they're getting ready. They're turning the engine over. You'll be hearing about that stuff probably in the not too distant future. And lastly, for gaming news, it's something for us to watch, Mr. Black. You ready to watch something?
Sure.
Okay, let's just put up this screen for a moment. I know it says starting soon, but that's not what it actually means. Hold on. Gonna get this up here. I already have the time. It's linked to the timestamp, so we should be good.
Yep.
That's not the right screen. That's the right screen, though. All right. So, this is The Last of Us Part 2. They did a state of play today. This just happened today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, yesterday. Broadcast yesterday? 27th, because today is 28th. Yeah, so yesterday. Where they showed off a bunch of The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay and stuff. I singled out a section here, so we don't have to watch the whole thing or anything, but it would just be enough for us to take a little peek at and talk about what we see. We're watching from 14 minutes, 30 seconds in this video, in for a little bit, and we'll just give you a little chit-chat about that. So you ready to go, Mr. Black?
Yep.
And 3, 2, 1, go. So, right off the bat, not that you should expect otherwise, but Naughty Dog squeezing every last ounce of power out of the PlayStation 4 Pro to make this game look very nice, especially given the consoles that it's running on.
It's pretty.
We're searching the area, just in case she's still around.
Water looks good.
Hmm.
No shit.
Escape. What the fuck are they talking about?
Animations also kind of stand out pretty much right away as being really good, although that's always been a Naughty Dog thing, having top-tier animation. This is gonna, you know, sound a little silly to mention, but the water sounds good too. It sounds appropriate. A lot of games doesn't sound right when you're swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, here we go.
Don't make a fucking sound. Hands up.
Oh, this girl's out here playing with a PS Vita.
Sure, yeah. Where is she?
In the hospital.
Where in the hospital?
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floors. She's somewhere in there.
Jesus.
Fuck. That was dumb.
And she's gone. She just stabbed her in the throat real quick. Is Sony hunting down the last PS Vita owner?
She not take the gun?
So it's away. Word is we're almost wrapped up.
She doesn't need it, Jeff. She has a bow and arrow.
Waiting for him for Bob.
You shitting me? They put you with Joe again?
Upstairs.
Hey, we get the job done.
I bet you do. Oh, this is not fair.
I feel like this...
I'm telling you.
Am I crazy, or is this the exact same place that they
Scene?
showed
From
off at
the last
E3?
I'll keep that in mind.
Looks very similar.
Fuck. Sounds like scars are getting closer.
Hope that's our guys executing those freaks.
Hey, did you hear why we're all getting called up to the fob?
I heard that Isaac wants us
What
to
kind of
retake all
silencer
downtown.
is that?
That's the strap some foam to the end of the gun.
No way. Not after what went down last time.
Oh, she's got bat vision.
And Isaac isn't that crazy.
It's what I heard.
No, this isn't the same, but it's really fucking similar looking.
All right, calm down.
Stealth kill.
Oh.
This girl's crazy.
She's seen some shit, Jeff. She's not afraid to stab a motherfucker in the neck anymore.
She's getting a little nutty now.
Oh no, it's a Coke bottle on the end of it.
Ah.
Which should only work for about one shot, and then it should probably have to be changed. And I use the term work loosely.
Going in the bag, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just like grabbing an item, you know? She actually like, physically has to go in the bag and grab it.
Hmm.
Pretty cool. Molotov. Oh, poor dog.
PETA!
Coke bottle's seen some shit.
Yeah. Well, it's been used a couple times now. I like it very likely does work, but it would at best like 2 or 3 fucking shots like on a well, she's only got a couple arrows. No bueno. I wonder if you can recollect your arrows.
Just like that.
Oh. Dude just caught that arrow in the throat.
Ah, there it is. It fell. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
you only
yeah.
get so many shots with it.
Yeah. The Coke bottle has durability, Jeff. Oh, that scalped him.
I'll go check it out. I got you covered.
Holy shit!
I've got you covered. No, I don't. You're already dead.
Yeah, you're dead.
Shit! Look out! No,
She
over
fucked
here!
that up. Oh no, she's still stunned.
For now! Asshole!
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh my.
this game's brutal.
Wow, they went full on with this audio.
I found her!
Oh shit.
What am I watching, dude? Is this?
You're watching Dead by Daylight. She took that shot like a champion.
Did she ever? Took another shot. Oh, I like that there's blood on her hands.
This is one of those games that when you watch it be played where there's no fuck-ups, it looks really dope. But then if you played the game and you died at that door and you had to like watch all these like these extra little cutscene moments where she's pushing shit against the door and all that, it drive you slowly insane.
That you, Nora?
Oh. You've got to hear that.
Maybe if you posted more guards, Abby would still be herself.
The fuck was Abby here?
I'm not stupid. You're gonna tell us where she went.
When Isaac talks to us about this,
I'm getting tired of this.
Nora. Nora! I'm not going down for her, man.
Nora the Explorer. You know, the one thing that stands out about this game, and it was kind of similar to the first one too, is how they handle the player transitioning from one area to the next, the camera angles and stuff that they use. It all makes it look like cinema versus a game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't scream. Put that shit down. You remember me? Yes.
She's got some big ass hands.
You remember me.
Huge hands.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
That's part 2. Yeah. Looks like more Last of Us, which is not a bad thing.
Nope.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's everything that you'd expect it to be. It looks fantastic. Animations are on point. Brutal is like the first thing that comes to mind watching that.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was crazy. Yeah.
the way that she was taking people out was very, very brutal. And they didn't hold back on that at all. especially the audio. I mean, they were. I want to know what the audio booth looked for when they were like, all right, so we're going to need you to pretend that you've just been stabbed in the abdomen 4 times and are now bleeding from the mouth. We provided you with a bottle of thickened Gatorade for you to gargle around as if it is blood. Good luck.
And action.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Again, for me though, with those games, all the things that make it impressive to me are also the reasons why I wouldn't, and why I didn't play the original and why I won't play this one, is the pacing is just fucking snail. And it's snail because they're trying to make the whole game look like you're playing a movie.
Mm-hmm.
All the camera angles, all the way that we were talking, they were transitioning. She was transitioning out of the vents onto the ground. The way that they swept the camera out in front and whatnot. It's so smooth and it's so well presented that it is a game that it doesn't even look like you're watching somebody play a game. When nothing goes wrong. And that's why I mentioned, like, when you're the one playing the game and you get to that door and you're opening it, you get popped off on a few times and you die, and then you've got to rewatch all this, like, painstaking getting out of the vent, watch the camera rotate, slowly slink down, grab the backpack, put the backpack back on, tie your shoes, eat a sandwich, whatever other fucking things they have to make it look so much more believable. That looks fucking incredible when you get into it. And you get to a section that's hard.
These types of games, like, I find...
Oh, the first one, the clickers, just everyone hated the clicker sections because people died like 50 million times.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I just... Yeah, that stuff never really bugged me. And usually they, like, especially during cutscenes and stuff, they let you skip through it. And
cutscenes, yes, but like the animation part, like, you never get...
Yeah. That doesn't really bug me. The trade-offs are definitely worth it. I mean, the Last of Us really does stand out as a game that I still go to when I think about great games. So yeah, I'm sure this.
Oh, they're incredible games. Oh, they're both. Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be very well done. And that's all we've got. I think we did a pretty good job. Where are we at? We got an hour deep off of like 4 bullet points, Jeff.
Boom. That's what you gotta do.
We gotta make it happen. You know what else we gotta make it happen?
Patreon.com/legtv.
That's right.
Hit us up. $, the minimal. It goes all the way up to as much as you want. And I'm not sure how many Patreons we're at right now, but it was moving up.
We're up. We're above 2,200 now for the first time in a hot minute. But
thank you.
The thing that I want to a couple things I want to mention about Patreon before we get into the other sellout sections is one. I stopped receiving for a hot minute. By a hot minute, I mean months. Time has blended together for me. I didn't even recognize it was happening. I stopped getting notifications from Patreons when we were getting messages.
Oh.
And so last night, when I was going in, and this leads to my other point, Patreon will start taxing subscriptions. The tax will vary based on the benefits that you're getting from the subscriptions, and I will be doing my best to make sure that the tax applied to our stuff is the smallest amount of tax possible, but just be aware that that's going to happen, and you will receive an email from Patreon here probably the next few weeks outlining that, but several countries have forced them to now have taxes on their subscriptions for certain things like physical deliveries and things like that. Like they started getting their door knocked on from tax agencies saying, "Hey, these people should these things should probably be taxed." So be aware of that. I'll do my best to reduce it as much as I can. It's unlikely to be that dramatic. I mean, if you're $10 a month and you're getting like 10% tax, it's like, it's not going to be the end of the world. But just be aware that that's coming. As for the messages, yeah, there was like 50, and there were a lot that were pertaining to the physical delivery or the merch delivery and stuff of that nature. I have now gotten back to last night before I got off the computer. I responded to all 50. And I added all 50, not all 50, but I added everyone who was sending a message about the merchandise I've responded, so you'll be able to read and get more details. But you are on the list now, so don't worry. When we have the opportunity to ship out, I have an Excel sheet, your names, all that stuff's on it, so that we know and the status of the delivery, if you've been sent it before or not, or if it's in process. That's all there, so you won't be forgotten. It's just now we have to wait for an opportunity to be able to ship stuff out again, and we don't have an ETA on that as it stands. So it's there. We have all the merch. We have all the stuff. We just have to wait for an opportunity to be able to send that stuff out. And then everyone else I responded to. So that's done. So that's all caught up. And then I wanted to let you guys know about the tax. Patreon.com/LagTV. You can continue now. What do we got?
All right. We got NordVPN. Promo code OTT is going to get you 70% off your VPN subscription. If you guys are not already, or if you don't already have a VPN, virtual private network, click on the link in the description below or go to nordvpn.com/OTT. Promo code OTT, 70% off on a 3-year term, up to 6 simultaneous connections, 30-day money-back guarantee. If it's not doing what you want it to do, get your money back, no questions asked. You can take advantage of watching different regions of Netflix with just a click of a button. You can use their app on your phone, desktop, internet browser, smart TV, you name it. They've got an app for everything. And you can get around data capping through your internet service provider. You can watch region-locked content no matter where it is by just a click of a button to mask your IP. And, of course, you can stay safe and anonymous. And they have high speeds, all the stuff you need. You can game on it. You can stream on it. You can stream and game on it. You can, stream Netflix and other
with no issues.
Video-related content with no issues. Tons of people have converted over, so we thank you guys. They're a sponsor of the stream. So if you are in the market for a VPN at any point, just think of NordVPN and think of that promo code OTT. As you guys continue to keep supporting the sponsor, they're going to continue to support the podcast. So, and they're a big supporter. So thank you so much. Also, go and check out Elgato. Link is also in the description below. Go and check out their stream decks, capture cards, green screens, key light, which is lighting. They've got everything that you need for your streaming needs.
Jeff.
And not only that, yeah.
I have a fucking question. I'm hoping you can help me out on this one.
I'll try.
Look, I've been trying to keep it a secret for a long time, but the reason why I haven't, been able to stream as often isn't because I've been slaving over my website for a long time or anything like that, or taking care of things around the house with the family. No, it's actually, I have, in the background, I've become an esports professional. I'm a top-tier player. I'm going to be playing in the LCS, and I've got a lot of money. It's coming in. It's so fast that it's difficult. And I've got a lot of bank accounts because, they cap you after a while, and you got so much money, and you're trying to divest, put your stuff in many different places. You want to avoid the tax man and stuff. If I wanted to, without having, I'm a lazy person. I'm lazy. I don't even want to pick up my phone. I don't want to have to make any phone calls or anything. I want to just press something and have the wire transfer go through. Do you have a solution for me to be able to do that as a now full-time LCS player making an average of $410,000 a year?
I mean, here, let me just bring this webcam down here, show you guys what you guys can use here. It's called the Stream Deck. So essentially, as you can see, I've got the lighting's a little light, so you probably can't see what's going on here, but I've got all kinds of different buttons. Now just pretend this is your Stream Deck. Now this is the Stream Deck XL. This is the big dick one.
That's a lot of bank accounts, Jeff.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even use all these buttons. I could probably get away with just a regular size Stream Deck, but I got it just because. Now, if you are an LCS professional and you are making a lot of money, you need a lot of different bank accounts. And you got a lot of money coming in from different places, So like this button right here, you click that button, and that could just deposit into your regular ass bank account. You know what I'm saying? So you get your little LCS check every week.
That's your Chick-fil-A money, Jeff.
Yeah, so there's $10,000 to $20,000 a week coming in right through there. Then you've got like your sponsor A. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might want to put that over into a bank account in Switzerland. So you can click that. That's going to be another $20,000, $30,000 a month just going in there. Over here, you've got like your, some fuck you money. You know what I'm saying? Rainy day fund. that's going to another bank account. You just click that right there. You got, this button right here. Hey, that could be your, hey, I got paid by Twitch. Click that right there. It's going to open up that Twitch bank account. It's going to be fat, juicy, plump. Might be able to pay your rent through that. Actually, no, you don't have rent because, the esports teams pay for that for you. So that's just money that's just piling up. And you can continue to do that over and over and over and over and over again. You got a button over here. This is like supporting, Leg TV Patreon account. You click that right there. You can go ahead and slide over $1 right over there just by clicking that button every single month, via patreon.com/Leg TV. You got this over here. This has got NordVPN. This is going to take you right over to their website, and it's going to auto put in that promo code OTT. You can plug all that stuff in with your Stream Deck. It's a huge hotkey hub. You can make it do virtually whatever you want. I think that's a deal and a half right there. So if you're having trouble spending some money, head on over to Elgato's website and go and pick yourself up a Stream Deck. You can do whatever you want with it.
Because why, Jeff? Because you...
gotta get one.
There you go. What's next, Jeff?
Movies and TV.
It's a short list. First thing, Kingdom Hearts TV show rumored to be coming to Disney+. I could not be more nonplussed about this if I tried. Kingdom Hearts, the least traceable story arc in the history of any amount of fiction ever. But it'll be very popular, and lots of people will watch it and love it, and why not? It'll make no sense, but people will watch it. And there you have it. So if you want to get your key sword, Disney character, goofy violence on, there's a good chance coming to Disney+. Next up, one that trended a lot more than I thought it would on social media. That shit went fucking global. Terrace House member Hana Kimura passed away at 22 years old the other day via what is almost certainly suicide. She was getting a unreasonable amount of social media hate and backlash and whatnot for her participation on the show. She was a professional wrestler, actually, in Japan, and a premier level wrestler, actually, one of the better wrestlers I've seen for their age, male or female. And the company was positioning to make her the head of, the lead talent at only 22 years old. But unfortunately, just like social media for any reality TV show, people are fucking crazy, Jeff.
Yep.
People are fandoms, I should say, not fans, because the difference between fans and fandom in the modern times is, my God, people are nuts. Like, every time she'd post on social media because she got in a disagreement with somebody on the show, they told her to kill herself. Every time she made any post on social media. Pro tip, don't do that. Because unless you're one of those people that can live with the fact that you probably had a hand in the person that eventually took their own life, like we have here, you probably don't want to have that on your conscience. Just keep it to yourself. If you don't like somebody on TV, whether they're playing a character or not, keep it in your own household. Yell and bitch on the couch, but you don't go to their personal social media accounts and start like targeting them and like direct messaging and be like, "Hey, kill yourself."
Sounds like roleplay. Sounds an awful lot like the fandom and roleplay.
Yes, roleplay or the fucking K-pop fandom. It's like whatever social media for that you see for K-pop over here, where it's like fan cams on every fucking Twitter post and all that shit and all the weird crazy. If you go to Korea, 110,000 times worse. Fandom there is rabid. Same with stuff like this with Terrace House. Fandom over here, little sketchy. You go to Japan, fuck. Crazy. So yeah, it's highly unfortunate, super sad, so young, so talented, and needlessly harassed. Is just nuts. And now obviously the rest of the season canceled for sure. I've not been particularly pleased with how the production team has handled it, in that they haven't come out with any real statements other than the usual boilerplate stuff. I think they're trying to dodge any responsibility that they might have had in regards to this whole thing. And now my concern beyond the fact that this happened is that I'm pretty sure the show's just never going to make a comeback at this point. Because even if it does, it's always going to be the show where the contestant killed themselves, right? And I mean, imagine if Big Brother, if that happened on Big Brother, like one of the contestants killed themselves. I mean, Big Brother has, and you would know this, they have psychiatrists on site for the people on the show for that exact purpose, to try and keep them mentally stable in a place where nobody could possibly be mentally fucking stable all the time. And so, yeah, it's just another example, and that trended everywhere because it was just cyberbullying, took another person. And it's nuts, because you can't escape that shit. You know, when we were going to school, growing up, there's no social media really until we were just about out of school. And certainly not, it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. And so if you were bullied at school, at least when you left school, you left the bullying at school the majority of the time. Now with the internet and social media, there is no hiding place.
It's nonstop. Yeah.
It's just 24 hours a day. And so, you know, that's just crazy. But very sad that had to happen. And other than that, that is about all I've got. There hasn't been anything crazy. Em and I haven't watched anything but 90 Day Fiancé. Oh, did you watch some of that?
Yeah, we've been watching it, man. I think we're like 6 or 7 episodes in. The shit is long, man. The episodes are like an hour and a half
each.
Dude, I checked last night because we watched 2 episodes last night. We still have 7 more episodes left in this damn thing. It's like 11 hours of this shit still.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's intense. And you know, we only can watch, you know, maybe an episode a night on a good night. It's like an hour and a half, right? We ain't got fucking 3-4 hours of TV, right? So but yeah, we've been watching that, so it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
What were your thoughts on Big Ed?
Big Ed is something. He's something. He just made Sweet Sweet Love on the last episode.
Oh,
so,
you got there? The crazy foot massage segment.
The hairy legs and oh man, the show is just so cringe. It's so there's so much fuckery that goes on, man. There's so much like obvious ploys to get green cards, and just it's wild. There's like, and you feel bad for some of these people because they're so desperate for love, and like they're so, you can just tell like just mentally it's a lot
of mental gymnastics for some of them, like the black girl, what's her name, with Williams.
Yeah.
That one's painful, bro.
I called that out like right away. As soon as I saw the pictures, I'm like, I said, Kayla, I guarantee you it's some Nigerian. And then I was like, I was like, wouldn't it be funny as if the Shyamalan twist, the Nigerian was Soulja Boy?
Or one of like his friends or some shit.
Yeah, baby girl, I will cry for you, girl. The whole celebrity thing, like, man, this shit is just, it's crazy.
It's nuts for sure. Yeah. That was, well, I mean, it was obvious that Williams was a catfish pretty much right out of the gate when she was describing him. Showed the pictures, and I was like, all right, that's probably.
And his name's Williams.
Yeah, it's just Williams. It's like Oprah. He just needs one name. And then like what made me laugh was when she was like, yeah, he's a restaurant owner, and I immediately went, nope, because no restaurant owner has enough time to go to the gym to look like that.
Well, not only that, she was on the phone with him. You could hear the voice. I was like,
and then this next scene where she was like, I love the English accent. It's so sexy.
I'm like, that's not an English accent at all. That kind of sounds like Nigerian fucking dialect here, and this doesn't sound. You getting catfished?
Hey Jeff, meet me at the London airport.
Yeah. Which one? The London one. Wow.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. No, I haven't really seen much crop up movies and
we'll
TV
watch
wise.
another episode tonight.
Yeah. All right. You know what's next?
Tech support.
Ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/lagtv. Every single week on podcast day, I post up a post on the Patreon page. $10 and higher gets you access to that bad boy, and you can then ask us questions in which, during the tech support segment at the end of the show, we answer as many of those as we can. And today, given the fact that we're an hour and 25 minutes in, I'm going to say we're probably going to answer a good number of them. Let's hop right in. Do I still have that up? I do. There we go.
Might even be able to see my boy before he goes to bed.
It's possible.
Dream.
The dream. Will Hawkins asks, how old were you when you could first do a dunk? I'm guessing he's asking me. Because you've never been able to dunk.
No.
No. Okay. So
I've never really tried, I don't play basketball.
Yeah. How old were you when you could first do a dunk, and can you still dunk? Okay, so I first dunked in junior high, grade 9. I would have been, 6'3" at the time, maybe 6'4". I had done most of my growing by then. I just got to 6'6" by the end of high school. When can I still dunk? Probably not, honestly. I sit in a chair all fucking day. And it takes, I'm 6'6", but it takes an awful lot to get a 6'6" body to a basketball rim. When you see Michael Jordan, who is also 6'5", 6'6", jump and get that high above the rim, that motherfucker was built like he had springs in his feet. It takes a lot to get that going. I tried to, where was I? We were in the valley, and we were visiting my dad's elementary school because they had like a little cafe opened at the time for like the community. And I went into the gymnasium, and the first thing I did was I stood underneath the rim, and I just tried to jump to see if I could at least touch the rim from a standstill. And I barely got to the rim from a standstill underneath of it. If I was running, I could probably, maybe, but it'd be bad. It'd be an ugly dunk. It wouldn't be pretty. It would look like an older white guy trying to fucking dunk, and it would just not be fucking pretty. But can I still? Probably not. Too much sitting around. Oh, this is Seth just saying a comment. Windows 10 updates suck donkey dick. Yes, you're right, Seth. They do. And buckle up because the next major one is coming soon.
Yay!
NVIDIA's putting out their driver for that update coming soon, so buckle up. Chico asks, what is the best Cheapskate story you have?
Cheapskate?
Yeah, Cheapskate. Like when either you or somebody you've seen was being like just super fucking ultra cheap.
Oh man. Fuck.
I gotta keep it 100. You're my biggest Cheapskate story, right?
What the fuck did I do now, bro? I'm frugal. I'm not cheap.
No.
I'm frugal.
No, bro. There was almost a decade period. A decade. Where you only had one pair of scissors in the house, and you could only find them once every 6 months. Number 2, for the same period of time, you only had one screwdriver, It was an old. You still have this screwdriver at your house now. It is an old fucking screw. You might even have it in that room in the filing cabinet. It is like an old fucking gray handle, pink base or some shit, tiny-headed Phillips screwdriver. That was the only one for like a decade. And every time I needed a screwdriver to do like any kind of like random thing at the house, if it was like computer related or some shit, and I said, "Hey, you got a screwdriver?" And the same, like, yeah, bro, 1 second, come back, and it's the same fucking screwdriver every time. Didn't matter if I needed a Robinson head or a flat head, because the only one was.
On a bright note, I got two.
Hey!
I got 2 scissors now. I got 2.
And they're readily on hand.
They are. I moved on up.
And I couldn't convince you for the longest time to just buy, like, your entry-level fucking set of screwdrivers. Or the hammer. You had, like, a fucking a hammer for finishing jobs with, like, finishing nails for, like no weight. Just the smallest fucking dinky, rinky-dink hammer. So, like, we were trying to drive, like...
I got stuff now.
Yes, you do.
I got stuff now, so
we're
good.
Thank God.
Oh man, I really don't know. I mean, like my mom and shit calls me cheap all the time. So like, you know, I don't consider myself cheap. I just think I'm frugal. Thing is like I'm really generous, and I'll spend large amounts of money on things that I feel. Either things I really want, or I feel like for example, I'm not really the type of guy that will buy a discounted thing because it's a bit cheaper. I'm more of the guy that will buy the more expensive thing that will last longer.
Yeah.
So I'm that type of guy. So like, for example, if I need a jacket, I'm not going to buy a jacket for $50 that is going to last me. I'm just making an example. That's going to like last me, say, 1 or 2 seasons. I'll rather buy something that might cost a lot more that'll last me, 5 years, a decade. So that's my mentality. But in terms of like cheap stories, I don't know, man. Like I'm also the type of guy that like will fill up my gas tank or whatever, or I'll take a look at what the gas prices are going to be, so I won't fill it or I'll fill it before the day that it's supposed to go up.
Which is crazy, like, because even in your truck, that might save you like $8.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So like I am that type of guy. Like I don't know if that's being cheap or
that.
Just,
well, that's always that has always like driven me a little crazy with you, is that the stuff that you choose to be cheap with are the things that mean the least, and the stuff that you choose to be expensive with is the most expensive shit. So it's like
I don't know. It's how I am. It's how I am. Like it's hard. It's hard to explain. That's just the reality of it. Like I'm the type of guy that like I'll wear the same thing. Like I'm cheap. Like you guys, how many times you see me wear this jersey or like these same pants or the same fucking hat, dude? Like but I won't go and buy something else. I don't know.
Everyone's got their weird financial quirks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could talk about like yard sale. Like I'll go to yard sale and say for example, there's a video game that somebody wants $5 for and it's worth like 50, and I'll be like, well, you take 2 for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm that type of guy. But I think that's more of like the bargain and like the rush of a deal. The win. You know what I'm saying? Like
Dad will come home. Sometimes drives Mom nuts. Mom will send Dad to the grocery store. Right now, it doesn't matter as much because it's just get whatever you can. But like before, the fucking Space Godzilla, Mom would send Dad to the store, and sometimes there are certain brands that are just so much better than other brands for food that you just bite
the bullet.
You bite the fucking bullet. And Dad would go to the store and he'd have like that specific brand from Mom, whatever, get it. But then he'd see like a
off-brand?
An off-brand that was like on sale, but the only like the price differential was like 50 cents.
Ooh.
And he'd come home and he'd be like, tell mom about how the deal he got, and mom would look at him like, it was Dan.
You motherfucker.
It was 50 cents. 50 cents.
50 cents, bro, for my happiness. It's 50 cents.
It's
Soft
50.
madness. You know, you brought home Fruity Loops. All right. I wanted Fruit Loops. All right. And it's 50 cents. It's not 50% off. It's 50 cents, bro. Come on.
That's dad every time at the fucking grocery store. It drives mom nuts.
What's up?
Luke asks, Jeff, for those of us who don't have time to watch your personal stream, could we get a little background on your GTA RP character, like the history, how you came up with it, etc.?
I'll go super fast. All right, so he's a character that couldn't sing. He was singing out of tune, right? So he wasn't a very good singer. He wanted to become a big time singing songwriter. So he went through drastic measures and moved to the city of Los Santos, went to a place called Humane Labs, which is a place in the city, and then got an auto-tuner surgically fused onto his vocal cords so that he would always sing in tune. And people think that my character's name is Auto-Tune Tyrone. It's actually Auto-Tune Tyrone, which is not only a play on the way that I say oat instead of out, but he also sang out of tune, and now he sings in tune. So that's basically his backstory, and that's why he permanently was talking in auto-tune, is because he had the auto-tuner on his vocal cords. Now he's had an upgrade where now he can turn it off and on at will, so that personally myself, I don't have to speak in auto-tune all the time, because it was driving me crazy because I hear playback. So everything I'm saying and doing is always in auto-tune. And I just kind of made a thing where he just missed his own voice and he wanted to be himself. His name is actually Tyrone, but he had his name legally changed for a start, his performance name to Auto-Tune Tyrone because of the auto-tuner. And he made his first name his last name, but his real last name is actually Crookshank. And so anyway, it's
Crookshank.
Which was a backstory for his great-great-grandfather, who's going to be in Red Dead Redemption, who was a crook. He had a master, and he was known as a crook. And they used to keep all the slaves and stuff in the barn. And he ended up making a shank out of one of the bolts that the barn did, and then he ended up shanking his master, and then he gets away, and then he called all the slaves, they called them Crookshanks, and that's like going to be the gang, is the runaways. So that's a bit of a backstory.
Fuck.
Big Bigum's Crookshank and BBC.
Oh, there you go. Bringing it all back around.
Hey, it is what it is. So that's a quick backstory.
Cryptic Cyanide asks, what movie would you like to see retold with the exact same plot, actors, directors, and all, but from a different point of view? So, like, different main characters, and what would those characters be? Man. I think it might be,
Told from the other point of view. Damn. Like the point of view of the bad guy?
Yeah, well, that's really the only, because so many movies are from the point of view of the good guy, right? So like you're looking at mostly.
I'm gonna go with the Dark Knight. Give me Heath Ledger, movie around him, and then Batman is sort of the character that he's going after. Keep the same director, same actors, same everything. Just give me the Heath Ledger side of the movie. I want to see it through the bad guy. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. I'll go Star Wars prequels from the eyes leading well, no, because everything's the same, so it's not a different movie. Fuck. So it doesn't work. I
Dude,
was
I
gonna
don't
say
even-
it'd be cool to see like from the eyes of Darth Maul leading up to the Duel of Fates, but that's a different movie entirely. It's not like the same movie, different point of view. I don't know if I've got one. I think what you picked is good as it is. I mean, it might be interesting with some war movies to see from the other side. Like, I know people would be terrified of it seeming like they're glorifying what people would consider to be the bad guys from wars past, but there's no, you know, soldiers are ultimately just soldiers, right?
Hey,
They're sent.
the bad guys had friends and family. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got a story. You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, something in that vein might be interesting. Oh, Alexa asks, what is the most stressful situation that you have ever lived through?
That I've ever lived through.
Honestly, I mean, the only
Now?
like now, I would say now, and then before that was just when Ryan was murdered, and that was the only two times that I've ever experienced like a level of stress that would be included in this.
Yeah, I think like now, like just in terms of, I'm talking about like I've been more stressed in my life. Like you know, my stress level right now is it's whatever, right? You know, yeah, everybody has bad days and things, but in terms of like the way the world is working right now, like the stress around family, loved ones, the precautions you have to take, everything. This is definitely, in terms of like through my life, not only the weirdest, but I guess like the most, I wouldn't even say necessarily stress, but it's more of like the unknown, and it's just it's a weird time, which makes it feel stressful.
It's more than just the pandemic, right? There's a lot of, and this isn't just because social media has made news more readily available and whatnot, and being made aware of more things happening around the world. This is from a political standpoint around the world, not just in North America, but around the world, a really fucking wacky time, like everywhere.
Yeah. Shit show.
It's a shit show all over the place. And so you've got that, and then you stack this pandemic on top of it, and even for those, like for people like you and I who, yeah, it's a stressful situation, but we're coasting compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting if you stop long enough to think about what's going on in the world and how everything is happening right now. It's almost an oppressive feeling.
Yeah.
Like it's almost claustrophobic. You know, in our generation, we've now gone through, you know, 2 major recessionary periods, and a lot of political bullshit on the backs of not having a particularly great future because a couple generations up from us kind of fucked the economy in a way that takes money out of our pockets for like retirement and stuff of that, like in that way. The planet's pretty much fucked right now, as far as
Show, bro.
the
It's
climate.
So
yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little bit rough, to say the least, and that's probably it. I mean, I've been extraordinarily, you know, blessed to have a relatively just to call it stress-free. I mean, it's not stress-free, but in what people would consider extraordinary stress.
Yeah.
Very
You gotta
lucky.
get- Yeah.
So, yeah. We just bounced. We literally either 1 or 2 podcasts ago talked about this, but he said, "Happy National Burger Day. What are your go-to burger toppings and condiments?" We literally just the other 1 or 2 podcasts ago. So you can go back and listen to that. But the long short of it is, I'm a pretty standard guy, and Jeff's not too far behind on that one, just with more hot peppers.
Mm-hmm. I might actually make a burger after this.
We had burgers and hot dogs yesterday.
Barbecue season.
Yeah.
It's been so nice too. Like we got a little bit of patio furniture, so we've been spending quite a bit more time outside and just relaxing. Is
Today
nice,
was like
man.
hot and humid. Like I sat on the deck for about 20 minutes and I was sweating. It was so hot.
Dumped today to drop off a whole bunch of cardboard and shit, because when we moved here and then Christmas and then like all of Kai's, I didn't even realize, but the amount of diapers and stuff that Kai goes through, like you get a box every single time. We've just been like loading them up. Dude, we've had a shit. I've just did one load. I still got to, it's probably still going to be another two more truckfuls of shit. But I was outside, man. It was humid as shit outside, man. It's just fucking hot. And, things are starting to open again, So like I was driving by. I wanted to go to Canadian Tire to get battery. Kayla's battery in her car is dead, so we need to get a battery. And dude, I went to 2 different Canadian Tires. Fucking lineup, because they're only letting 50 people in at a time. The lineup it looked like Black Friday. Like that's the closest thing I could come to it. Like now that stores are starting to open again, the lineups at these places are insane. And since you still have to keep social distancing, it's making the lineups go fucking
If
forever.
you do any amount of shopping, you've got to do it like in the early morning.
First thing in the morning. First thing. Afternoon and shit. Hell no. I said, fuck that, man. I'm gonna let this baby run out. You need to go somewhere, use Jeep. Cause I ain't dealing with that shit right now. Hell no. But yeah, it's getting stupid out there.
Mick Barge says and asks, he said, Iron Mike Tyson is making a comeback into boxing. How much money would you need to be paid to be his opponent not taking a dive? No amount of money, and here's why. Even if I said $10 million to go in and actually attempt to box Mike Tyson, because I'm limited in my ability to defend myself properly. Even a 50-plus-year-old Mike Tyson, if he gets one full-blown fucking right hook on my ass, it's not that it's going to knock me out. It's going to probably fucking like permanently damage my ass. This is not like another boxer that's conditioned. They know how to fucking like block properly to absorb fucking damage. They're muscled up in the neck. They've been used to getting hit. Their body reacts to getting punched differently. You get hit by a 50-year-old Mike Tyson and you don't block fully, you don't have a body built for it, he will fucking kill you. And I don't mean that like hypothetically, I mean you'll die. So there's no amount of money if I wasn't taking a dive. There's just none, because I would be, I promise you, dead.
I'm gonna go with $3 million. You give me $3 million, I'm gonna get in a ring with Mike Tyson and I'm gonna try and knock him out. He's gonna fuck me raw, but I'm willing to take that chance that I'm not gonna get permanent brain damage from when I take that hit to the head. For $3 million, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna take one for the team, family. I'm gonna make sure y'all taken care of. All right, but fuck it, $3 million. I'll go for it.
Yeesh.
YOLO. And I can say I got fucking knocked out by Mike Tyson. So I got that too. And I'd much rather get hit by a 53-year-old Mike Tyson than the 20-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yes.
So, we got that. If you're saying, hey, you got to fight Mike Tyson in his prime, now I don't think there's an amount of money you could pay me. Now, though, you know what? I'll take one for the team.
Bro, I saw that man throw hands in that video.
Oh, he fuck you right up. You
fucking take your head off your shoulders, bro.
Yeah.
Real quick.
For $3 million, I'll take the chance.
Zen Matey asks, how do you like your coffee?
Milk and sugar. Two of each.
I don't drink coffee. So that's how I like it. I like the smell of it. So M drinks coffee now, in the mornings sometimes. And I like the smell of it, but I really, at no point have I even been a little bit interested in drinking coffee. The couple times I have, it ain't it.
Yeah, you might not have just had good coffee. There's so many different types of coffee. I was never for coffee for the longest time. And then I say when I hit about 27, 28 years old, I just started drinking it, and now I enjoy it. I have coffee almost every day, and it's just nice. And especially when I travel, I kind of use coffee. I kind of drink coffee like some people would drink beer, where some people like their IPAs and they like trying with different stuff. I'm kind of like that with coffee when I travel. I like to go and try out different types of coffees at different shops, and I just enjoy a coffee.
You would enjoy Australia. They have a monstrous coffee culture in Australia. Like they take their coffee fucking crazy serious over there. So you'd be in coffee hipster heaven over in Australia.
I can't really call myself a coffee hipster, but I do enjoy. I would get as much enjoyment from going out and having a coffee with the boys and talking shit than as I would go into the bar and having a beer and doing the same thing. Like I'm kind of sort of in the same realm.
Mark Pearson, in a semi-related question, asks, "What is your worst Tim Hortons experience?"
I had a coffee completely spill on me one time because I didn't put on the top. So I had gotten the coffee, and sometimes you grab the coffee like sort of like that instead of that. So I had gotten the coffee from the girl, normally picked it up, put it in the tray in the car, and then the coffee is like kind of deep inside the cup tray, so you can't really grab the cup of coffee and take it out. You got to kind of grab it. You only got so much to do. Well, I fucking grabbed that shit, and as I grabbed it and pulled it up, and I'm sitting there, driving, the top wasn't on. So as I grabbed it, the thing spilled all over my lap. It was fucking hot as fuck, all in the truck. I wasn't happy.
I've never had like any really truly awful Tim Hortons experiences. I've had inconveniences, but I've never had food poisoning. I've never had like anything like that happen, thankfully. I'll say the 2 points in Tim Hortons history that affected me the most from an experience standpoint were when the American food company bought them out, the people that own Wendy's as well, I think. And that changed them pretty dramatically from like a donut and coffee shop with just like some simple sandwich to like another fucking fast food restaurant. It's got everything now. Your salads and fucking 1,000 sandwiches and all this other shit. And when they did that, the quality just went down the fucking toilet. And they also started like more heavily using frozen donuts and shit like that. Nothing was really being made anymore to any level of freshness. And then, not long after that, they changed the fucking chili recipe, and now it is nothing like it used to be, and it doesn't taste nearly as good and as watery in comparison. Yeah. So, what I'm saying is, most of my issues came from when the American company bought up the fucking Tim Hortons. Brennan Lessick asks, Jeff, what experience are you most excited to share with your son? Like when he was born, did you have a I can't wait until X moment?
I would say going to the movies.
First movie experience?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to first video game experience that I can sit down and watch him play a video game. But I would say like number one is I got like sort of a kind of that when we sat down and watched the movie together, and he's sitting there actually watching it, but he's still so young. I look forward to when he's a little older and he can get excited about wanting to go to the movies and getting the popcorn and doing that whole thing. And I've got so many movies that I want to watch with him that like I'm pumped for that.
I think
yeah.
I mean I don't have a kid yet, but I think one of the things that I'll look most forward to with my children is just them finding their thing. You know what I mean? Like they're finding their thing, and I'm looking forward to getting excited with them about their thing that they're excited about. So whether it's a certain sport or whether it's gaming or whether it's music or whatever the fuck, I'm looking forward to the moment where they have their aha moment of this is my thing. And then I look forward to getting excited about that stuff with them and being able to like help them just chase after that thing, right? That's what I'm looking forward to personally. Mark Furry asks, what's something that you've watched only because of your lady friend?
50 Shades.
Oh. I had to watch Twilight.
You can't even get me to do that. I mean,
so basically the same author.
Yeah. So well, with 50 Shades, it gets the lady all horny, and you know, I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go through this, get some pussy at the end of it. It's all good. Twilight, there's no pussy at the end of it. All right. Twilight is just like, you know what? I think I now have a pussy after watching this, and I might get fucked. So, you know what? No, I'm gonna pass. So no, she couldn't even get me. She couldn't get me to watch that, and she couldn't get me to watch the rest of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh shit. Aaron Carter's back. I thought we lost Aaron Carter.
He's back.
Said, help! My garden is full of weeds. What do I do? Do you maintain your lawn? If so, what are your hacks for weeds? I got a weed contraption device from Costco, which is as satisfying as popping a pimple, but I can't get them all. I'm putting in grass seeds and trying to patch things up, but I'm a pleb when it comes to lawn care. Please help.
I'm also a pleb. But our place is a massive garden. So Kayla has taken the reins. So I'm not the person to ask. Kayla would be the one, but she's out there, you know, with the wheelbarrow and all the soil and the other stuff that you put down, and my mom comes over and helps and shit like that. So for me, nah, I don't do any. I have a ride-on lawnmower. That's as far as I go. I ride the lawnmower. I won't know shit about weeds. I don't know nothing about nothing. And if Kayla didn't do it, I'd have to pay somebody to come and do it.
Lawn care isn't that fucking complicated. It's actually a little bit of luck. So like you've probably seen sometimes when you're like your neighbors or something, they'll strip their fucking sod out because it's full of weeds and there's no grass left. The weeds have choked out all the grass, so they just strip the shit and then they roll out new sod. And sometimes you just get cucked, and the sod that you bought is also full of fucking weeds, or it's full of like not the greatest grass that you can buy. So, and that's why a lot of people will just go with grass seed, which can also have a bunch of weed in it. So some of it's just luck. After that, it's, even if it's not legal, a lot of people will find a way to spray their yard for dandelions and other things like that, because there's no other way to fucking keep them down. You can go out with that Costco picker that you're talking about, and you can literally dismantle your entire lawn. Yeah. It's not going to get rid of the fucking dandelions.
You need to spray that shit.
The majority of it, my best advice as somebody who's only, you know, like help mom and dad and my grandmother, both my grandmother's properties, the one in the valley is a massive fucking property. The things that make the biggest difference without having to get too crazy with it is at the start of every season when it's starting to warm up and the grass is dry, rake it. Get rid of all the dead fucking grass in it. Don't rake it to the fact that it's like fucking down to dirt, but rake it and get rid of all the dead stuff. Pull that stuff out, throw it away somewhere. Your lawn will be thinner, but it will be healthier because the stuff that's still alive is going to be able to actually come up. A lot of times in the winter, especially if you're in a place like we are, and the winter time comes around and the snow sits on it all winter, it mats the grass down and then it chokes off a lot of the grass. It doesn't come back very easily. So you rake that shit with relative frequency. And then step 2 is, like you've already mentioned, you know, when there's patches of dirt or you have to get rid of shit, sprinkle some fucking seed on that shit, water it, make sure it stays watered. 3, you get a lime. You got to put some lime down. You got to be able to find a good time, watch the weather, know when it's going to rain, not downpour, but just have a nice rain. Put the lime out on the lawn and the fertilizer. You do those things, that's your best chance. Everything else is just bullshit fucking luck. It's just all about what you got. My next door neighbor just spent a fortune resodding last year. Snow went away. Literally not a single blade of grass survived the winter. All was dead.
Rip.
So, there you go. Nikki asks, what is one of your favorite, your happiest childhood memories, Jeff?
Jeez, it's pretty sad that nothing really comes to mind. I would say you know, going over my grandmother's with my cousin, playing video games all hours of the night. We used to do that every other weekend or so, or he'd come over my place and we'd play video games. I would say like that the happiest that I probably was as a kid was probably right around the time where I moved onto your street, right around there, because that was the first time we ever lived in the suburbs. You know, we always lived in the hood. So like I had fun and stuff, but it was a different type of fun. Moving in the suburbs and hanging out with like suburban kids, it was a different type of fun. It wasn't necessarily like, sure, we got in our little bits of trouble when we were kids, but when you live in rougher areas, most of the fun is around trouble. So just playing video games, hanging out, playing track down and stuff, that was fun to me. So yeah.
Yeah, those are really good times. I like an individual moment for me that just stands out in my mind is a Christmas at my grandmother's place in the valley, and it was like the perfect Christmas. It was just enough snow outside. It wasn't like 78 fucking feet of snow. It was just, you know, a white Christmas, and the way that you would want it to be. And at the bottom of the stairs during Christmas, one of the decorations was a bell that like you pulled and had a music box in it, and that was how they woke me up at Christmas time when we were spending Christmas there to, you know, because breakfast was ready, time to open presents, all that shit. So I'm upstairs. So I wake up to White Christmas. I hear that, you know, my Grammy rang that fucking bell thing. The music's going off. I'm going downstairs. I get to have like, you know, fresh farm eggs and fresh fucking bacon from farms nearby. It's like the bacon fucking as thick as Shaq's dick. Homemade bread. Everything. And then there's turkey dinner and all that shit, but we're opening the presents. My whole family is there. It was like a
Hallmark commercial.
It was a fucking white ass Hallmark commercial. That perfect Christmas. So that was that's probably that one. I don't even know what year it was. I just remember it. I was young enough that I can't remember the year. So I was probably like 6, somewhere in there, 7 years old. So I'll go with that.
Right, let's get one more because
yeah. As I was gonna say, we have a couple left here. Some of these are kind of lengthy, so I'm trying to get one more so you can go see Kai. So, Black Jimmy, what is the most 2020 moment you've seen so far? Mine is Adele losing a bunch of weight and being shamed for it online.
Mine is listening to Donald Trump say, you know, can't we do something where we just like inject some some fucking what was it? Fucking
Cleaner.
Clorox cleaner, whatever the fuck he said. That shit was peak 2020 for me. That's just full dumpster fire. I'm gonna go with that. But the Adele one, that is pretty funny too.
I'm gonna say, hearing that a couple of the states, it just so happens that 2020 is the year that the locusts are, or not the locusts, the cicadas are coming out of the ground. It's only one every 17 years that cicadas come out of the ground. And they basically are like locusts. They ravage crops. They fuck everything up. Like 10, 15 million of them come out of the fucking ground and just fuck everything up. And of course, the year.
2020. The year of Lord and our Savior.
It's 2020. And so that's, I think that was, for me, it was just like, yeah, everything else was like already happening. Social media is always a dumpster fire. Donald Trump's a fucking retard. It just, everything, that's all good, fine and good. But then you hear it's like, oh, and by the way, the cicadas are coming. Buckle the fuck.
Buckle the fuck up. Oh, also, aliens were here, so, you know.
And then the killer bees, or not the killer hornets from fucking Japan, the super hornets showed up on U.S. soil.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's everything. Everything's fucked, bro. Everything is fucked. Everything is fucked.
So yeah, I'm just waiting. Is this the year that that fucking what is it, the volcano on the West Coast? That's just like a ticking time bomb that's gonna like take out all of North America. Is this the year?
Why not? You know, if it's gonna happen, it may as well happen this year. Just get it all out the way. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. It's a wild year.
Yeah.
And we still got lots of the year left. So
Yellowstone, that's it. We're just waiting. We're waiting for Old Faithful to just pop off.
Just erupt. Right at the end.
And take us out. Also, for anyone who is around the riots that are happening right now following the death of that man the other day, for God's sake, stay safe. People are, I mean, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be angry and out and fucking protesting the shit, but burning down your own community's housing is probably...
Don't do that.
There are other ways to be angry publicly.
Yeah.
Because that's not actually helping anyone.
Well, I think some of it also is people are just really angry right now.
Well, so I mean, it's unbridled rage because they feel trapped that they can't do anything. Damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, not only are people going through a lot, like right now with this whole Corona shit, but then you add to this shit. I mean, people were just looking for a reason to fucking not only go outside and be around people, but then they're already angry. You fuel that with the crazy shit that just went down with that guy that got murdered by the cop.
George Floyd is his name.
Yeah, George Floyd. That is literal recipe for big time riots. So stay safe and stay in your house. You should be staying in your house anyway, but really lock your doors and stay in the house because it's fucking crazy out there, dude. It's wild.
Yeah,
scary.
It's pretty scary. I fully understand why they'd be out and just losing their minds.
I get it. Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
It's just the buildings they're choosing to burn down could probably be selected
shifted a little bit. Yeah.
They're fucking themselves up, you know, and it's just it's unbridled rage, right? And it's crazy, and again, I don't blame them because it's you know. It's like nothing else works, so it's like what, you know, it's you're trapping them, so it's crazy. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you for Technical Alpha for today. Thank you so much for coming by. We managed to eke out or irk out a little over 2 hours.
We did it.
We made the magic happen. Patreon.com/LikeTV. To financially support the podcast. It goes a long way for us. And the numbers have been going up. And so thank you guys so much for your continued support in that regard. And some people messaging that I responded to last night, you know, saying that they've actually upped their pledge during these times. But I was just like, you know, writing them love notes, trying to get them all out And so thank you guys so much. We will be back next week with more. Be good to yourselves. Stay safe. Stay safe, not say Stafe. I need some food apparently to get my brain working again.
Me too.
We'll see you guys next time. And until we do, thank you once again and peace.
Peace.